Hi there and welcome. I'm Giuseppe Corcella from Virtual Orchestration and today I'm going to review MIR Pro 3D by Vienna Symphonic Library. MIR Pro 3D is the latest version of this software by Vienna Symphonic Library. This is basically a convolution reverb, so it's based on impulse responses. Basically, the developers recorded the actual reverb of some rooms, and thanks to a quite complex algorithm, you can get the actual sound of the instruments you are using if they were in that particular room. But Vienna MIR Pro is not only a convolution reverb, it's also a virtual sound stage, meaning that you can actually see the room inside your sequencer or inside Vienna Ensemble Pro and place the instruments inside this place, and these algorithms calculates also the distance between the instruments and the microphone and the position, so you don't have to worry about the depth of the sound and the spatialization of the instruments and the panning, because MIR Pro basically takes care of this stuff for you. So it's a pretty cool software. As we will see, MIR Pro 3D also features a visualizations of the room in 3D, so you can be even more immersed inside them. And the features include also support for 3D audio and third-order ambisonics. MIR Pro 3D comes with two versions, MIR Pro 3D and MIR Pro 3D 24. MIR Pro 3D 24, it's limited to 24 instruments, but it has the same features of the full MIR Pro. Also, if you want to test it, you can require a 30 days demo. Both Vienna MIR Pro 3D and 24 comes with a free room pack when you purchase. Vienna MIR Pro usually sell for 745 euros, but at the time of this review it's on intro price for 695 euros. MIR Pro 3D 24 usually sells for 355 euros, but it's now on sale for 325 euros. Once you have the software and the free room pack, you can decide to add more room packs, and they are also available in a bundle. So you have the room pack 1 with the Vienna Concerthaus, which includes the Grosser Saal, the Mozart Saal, the Schubert Saal, the Neuer Saal, and the foyer. On the website and on the manual you can find a lot of information about the rooms themselves. One thing I really like of this software is that you don't have just a studio venue, room venue. You have actually that room. You have the Vienna Concerthaus Grosser Saal, you have the Vienna Concerthaus Mozart Saal, and you can actually place your instruments inside that room. And this is something amazing in my opinion. The first room pack sells for 235 euros, and it's now on sale for 215. The second room pack includes studios and stages. It includes the Teldex Studio Berlin, the Recording Studio Weiler, and the ORF Funkhaus, which includes a few studio rooms. All the room packs are available also with a 30 days demo. It sells for 315 euros and intro price is 295 euros. The third room pack includes Mystic Spaces. It sells for 215 euros and it's now available for 195 euros. It includes two Mystic Spaces, the Maria Strassengall, a church from the 14th century, and the Steinhof Kirche, which is a more modern church built at the beginning of the 20th century. The Roompack 4 includes more concert venues from the Sage Gateshead, and it includes 3 venues: Hall 1, Hall 2 and the Northern Rock Foundation Hall. It sells for 235 euros and Enterprise is 215. The fifth Roompack features a further mystic space, Perneg Monastery, and it sells for 155 euros and Enterprise is 135 euros. And the Roompack 6 features the VSL Synchron stage and it sells for 250 euros and Enterprise is 230 euros. On the website you can find a lot of information about the rooms themselves, as well as the system requirements, some audio demos and the pictures of the venues. The Roompack bundle sells for 995 euros and Enterprise is 910 euros. Upgrade prices are available. Also, if you already own all the 6 Roompacks, when you purchase your upgrade to MIR Pro, you get all the Roompacks free of charge, which is a pretty good deal. Keep in mind that you need an analog account to run these products. I also suggest you to check out the Vienna Symphonic Library YouTube channel, where you can find a lot of tutorial informations about the old MIR Pro and now also about the new features in MIR Pro 3D, as well as our YouTube channels and website, where we have also some videos and informations about MIR Pro. Vienna MIR Pro also comes with an algorithmic reverb which is called Miracle, and you can essentially use it to enhance the reverb of your room, or even on a group of instruments or on a single instrument as you need. And you can also decide to use it as a creative kind of reverb. The important thing is that this is not a convolution reverb, so it's not based on impulse responses. You don't have a real ambience recording in this reverb, but it's let's say an artificial reverb, so it blends very well together with a convolution reverb like MIR Pro. And moreover, this specific reverb is made for this purpose, to work well with MIR Pro. You have indeed here a few presets. You have a few presets to enhance specific rooms, or even you have an hybrid reverb or an effect kind of preset, but you can also create your own preset and then save it as an user preset. You can also start from one of these presets and then change the parameters to better fit your needs. You can indeed change the pre-delay time, the length of the reverb, the stereo image. You can set the dry and wet amount and also the output signal. And here you can also change the damping curve of the reverb, and also you can equalize the reverb itself with these 3 bands equalizer. So this is a quite useful tool to use in combination with MIR Pro, and it comes along with your purchase. So you can use MIR Pro 3D both in Vienna Sample Pro or in your sequencer by inserting the MIR Pro plugin. The interface is completely renewed and it's a more modern interface. I really like it. Here you can decide the amount of dry and wet signal, as well as the volume, the color, and you can also hide, bypass, mute or solo the instrument. By clicking on this one, it will focus the instrument inside the stage or inside the room, and this will convert the plugin to a room tone generator. So if you want let's say a kind of room emulation, you just have to open the MIR Pro plugin on a separate channel and then click on this button, and you see that this plugin is dedicated to the room tone, and indeed you can see here a bit of background noise. And also the amount of room tone can be changed by moving this slider left or right. So MIR Pro will open in a separate window, and you have here the list of the instruments. You can also resize them. You can set the volume of the instruments as well as to hide, bypass, mute or solo the instrument itself. And you can also create groups of more instruments. Let's say if you want that all the percussion will act the same way, you can just click on here, go to group settings, and then add a new group, and also decide which parameters the group will control, and then you just assign the instrument to that group. In the settings, you can decide some behaviors of MIR Pro. This is a very useful tool, auto group selected channels. It means that when you select more channels, they will group together, so you can move them together or also change the parameter of all the instruments at the same time. You can also set the default instruments profile, and these two are new settings, but they are very useful. Basically, if you enable them, when you insert a MIR Pro plugin, the instrument icon will take the same name and color of the instrument, and this is something that really can save you a lot of time. I really suggest you to consider to keep them enabled. So all these icons are an instrument or a group of instruments. Basically, you have one for each MIR Pro plugin you insert in the host, and you can make them wider or smaller, and also you can change the amount of reverb from here, and the volume of each icon from here. And these are parameters you can also change from this box. You have here, you see the rotation, the dry and wet ratio, the width of the instrument, and the volume. One of the new features in this MIR Pro 3D is of course the 3D view of the rooms, and this is something amazing, which is in my opinion not only fancy to see, but it's very useful to really understand how a stage or a room is made, and where you can actually place and how you can place your instruments. I found myself a lot of time with the old MIR Pro to search for pictures or videos of the venue, because with the 2D view on some venues you didn't really understand how they actually were, but with the 3D view you can really have a proper look at this stage and see where and how you can place the instruments. This button lets you enable or disable the grid, and you see here that if I click on this you don't have the grid anymore, and if I click again on this the grid appears again. With this button you basically hide the instrument labels. Pretty useful if you have a lot of instruments inside the same room. And with this one you basically follow the instrument. You basically put the selected instrument to the center of the page. This button is very useful. This enables disables the hotspots. You see that if this is enabled, the stage is on a different color. This means that the points in the room which are orange are the points in which you can place the instruments. For each instrument you can also choose an instrument profile. These are different settings based on the Vienna instrument series, but even if you don't have the Vienna instrument series, you can try them and see if they work with your instruments as well, or just use them as starting points to build your own sound. Of course, MIR Pro doesn't work just with the Vienna instruments, but you can use it also with any third-party instrument you want. You can also change the kind of mic for each instrument. Here you can try some different presets, but now with the 3D version you have also an EQ. If you double click on this, you open the EQ, or just if you click on this button, you open it, and you can move up to 6 bands to shape the sound of the instruments if you need, and also you can save the preset you created to recall it on other projects. You can group the instruments, or you can also assign a role to them. So the role are basically some presets, and you can recall them by clicking on these two masks. Basically you can create a role for each instrument or even venue and recall it on other venues or other projects quite easily. And here you can decide which parameters the preset will carry. Here you have some options for the dry signal, and as I said before, here you can decide the amount of volume, the amount of dry and wet signal. On the output section, you basically work on the overall sound of the room. You can EQ the wet signal of that room and also save the preset you created, and this is quite useful. On one single instrument you can recall one of the room presets you created. In each venue you have 2 mic positions available, the main microphone and the secondary microphone. You can set the position here, but you can also change the position from here. And you see that MIR Pro is calculating how the reverb will sound now with the secondary mic in this position. On the secondary mic you can also decide the amount of volume. Of course you can enable or disable the secondary mic from here, and here you can change the mic from factory presets or user presets if you have created any. Same for the secondary mic. And you see that when I change the mic, also the image of the mic itself in MIR Pro will change. From this menu you can also customize all the mics, and you can also add other capsules and change the position, the amount of volume, dry wet signal, directivity. You see that the image change, and you see that the changes I did are reflected inside the venue. And you can do the same for the secondary mic and also save the new preset, and then you will find it on the user presets tab. So you have countless reverberation possibilities here, and you can also go way beyond what the developers gave you, because you can actually create any kind of mic you want, and of course then they have to sound good, but also this way you can also try maybe to use it on the creative side, maybe for some instruments that you want to create something very peculiar or something very particular. You can play around with a lot of capsules and change a lot the sound of the mics. And then here, this is an addition to MIR Pro 3D, you can also change the setting of the room from classical to scoring to pop. So you hear how the pop setting sounds more aggressive, while the scoring one is a bit drier in my opinion. And sometimes you can play around with these settings a bit to maybe meet more the requirements of the song or the cue you are working on. One of the greatest additions for me to the last version of MIR Pro is the multi-venue support. Basically, now if you click on this button, you can add more venue to the same project, meaning that you can actually use multiple spaces on the same project. And I think it's a very useful feature, because now you can also choose the right reverb for each instrument. Let's say you have a piece, an epic piece with choir, and you see that the choir doesn't fit well in the studio, and you want to try them instead in a church or in another venue, in the concert hall, in another studio. And same for the percussion, maybe you want a drier ambience, so you want to try them in a smaller venue. Now you can do that all in the same project. Of course, you have to make some tests and see what works better for each instrument or group of instruments, but this feature lets you have even more sounding possibilities and even more choices. First of all, I will let you listen again the Tchaikovsky mock-up I made for this review, but with the instruments placed on different venues. So now I have the woodwinds still in the concert house Saal with two mic positions on the conductor and on 7th row. The brass are placed in the Gateshead, the Sage Hall 1, and I try to keep the same positioning, so two horns on the right side and two horns on the left side. And also here I have two mic positions, conductor and 4th row. The celesta is in the Perneg Klosterkirche, and you see here how cool is the 3D visualization with stairs here, stairs here, and you can actually see where the instruments are placed. And you see here the hotspot I was talking about before. You can basically place instruments also here, here you can place instruments, and also on this place. I have the celesta here with a mic position on the choir's balcony, and the strings are placed in the Vienna synchron stage. I have to say, I really like how it sounds on different venues. For certain aspects, I hear like the sound is more spatialized and more controlled. I also tested it on an Epic Mix, and I think it really works great. You have more control on your sound, and you can make all the critical decisions in the same place. And even if you want all the instruments to be in the same room, you can use this feature to suddenly try basically if they sound good in one room, or if they switch better to another room, and the workflow is very fast. By clicking on this button, you see in this list only the instruments in the current room, and you can move anytime one or more instruments from one room to the other one just by dragging it into the new venue. And you see that they are placed all with the old settings. And by clicking this button you can add a new venue, and then to select the venue you go here, and you see here all the venues. You can list them as the venue type, so concert halls, mystic spaces, studios, or by reverb time: short reverb, medium, long, very long, or even by location, so the Gateshead, Graz, Perneg, Vienna, and so on. Here you have some information about the room as well. You can see here the available mic positions for each room, and the available presets for each room, and also the informations about the reverb itself. Now, to fully understand the capabilities of this plugin, I want to let you hear how the Celesta works on different positions in this church. You see how you hear how it goes from left to right, and also how it becomes closer when I get close to the mic, and how it sounds more spatialized and distant when it's upstairs. You see here even a different sensation here. And you see that if I place the instrument outside these spots, it doesn't play because they haven't sampled the reverb from that position. You hear how distant this is right now. It's behind the mic, and it's at the end of the church, so you hear a long reverb, but it's not just the reverb. I don't know, it's a three-dimensionality. It's like you are in there. You really can have the sensation of where is the instrument placed and distant from you, who are the listener. If you place it in the synchron stage, it's a completely different sound. This is even more different. You see also how the sound change as you change the type of the microphone. And also in the microphone list, you don't have just the stereo output, but you can also set them along with your sequencer to let the reverb play in surround or ambisonic. So you really can create an immersive sound, and you have, as I said, countless possibilities here. And also you have here a few lines of explanation about what these mic positions are. Okay, in this last part of the review I just want to play around with a few different venues and let you hear how a few seconds of the Tchaikovsky mockup sound in two different rooms. Okay, so in conclusion, I think that VoiceL did a really great job with this software. There's a lot of improvement here compared to the old version. First of all, the 3D view is something amazing. Not only, as I said, fancy to see, but also functional, because you really can understand the distance between the instruments and see better where you can place the instruments and also how, because now you actually see how the room is done, and this is really important in my opinion, especially in the churches and in the concert halls, where you have a lot of things on the stage and on the room itself. The sound of this reverb is something really amazing in my opinion. You are really immersed in the sound of the room, and it's become my go-to reverb for almost every production I do. It also seems to me that the sound compared to the old version is more clear, more defined. On the old MIR Pro, when you heard one instrument alone with the default amount of reverb, sometimes you had the feeling like the instrument was actually alone in the room, like it was playing with no one else and nothing else around it. But on this new version, the reverb is more controlled in my opinion, even when you listen to just one instrument alone. And so yeah, you have the perception that there is something else surrounding the player, and not that the player is alone in the room. I really like also the preset roll improvement, which really can help you to save a lot of time when it comes to recall the venue itself or the instrument presets from one venue to another, or from one project to another, especially if you're working on an album and you want that the instruments and the room have the same vibe from the beginning to the end. The multi-venue feature, it's one of the most exciting for me. It really can help you to bring back to life your instruments, and as soon as you start moving around between the rooms, finding the right reverb for that or this instrument, and playing around with some parameters, you can really get the best out of it. And also I really appreciate the addition of the character EQ you can actually shape beyond their own presets, and also the microphones are completely customizable, and also you can use them in a surround environment, and so you can really immerse yourself and the listener into the room you are mixing your song in. The full price can seem a bit high at first, but after years of using this software, I can tell that worth every cent for me. And also, if you have all the Roompacks from the old version, you get currently them free of charge when you upgrade to the new version of MIR Pro, and this is a great deal. Also, if you are new to this world, you can take advantage of the 30 days demo, so you can get started with it and see if this actually works for you. I also find MIR Pro a very useful tool that can helps you to make your mix sound good and realistic, and you basically don't have to worry anymore about how to space the instruments into the room, because this software takes care of all of these. And also, if you move them around, you can hear that the sound really change, and you can really have the feeling that the instrument is playing on the left, on the right, but even if it's playing just a bit far from the mic or a bit closer to the mic. So it's a really great software in my opinion. From my experience, I have just good words for it. So, it's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to support Virtual Orchestration, subscribe to the channel. If you wish, join our newsletter, like the video. If you have any comment, just let me know below. Don't forget to click on the bell icon if you want to get notified as soon as we release a new tutorial or a new review, and see you on the next one.